What if I told you that losing fat doesn't require spending hours doing cardio or eating chicken and broccoli every single day? Most people overcomplicate fat loss, and I'm here to simplify it. I lost 20 pounds naturally without feeling miserable or deprived, and in this video, I'm breaking down the exact system I used so you can do the same by the end of 2025. Before we dive in, if you're serious about transforming your physique and want a complete roadmap that gets you there even faster, I've put together a comprehensive body recomposition guide that you can grab for free with the link in the description below. Here's what most people get wrong about fat loss. They start way too aggressively with their calorie cuts, add tons of cardio immediately, and track their food inconsistently. Then they wonder why they're exhausted, losing strength, and not seeing results. The fitness industry wants you to believe that more information equals better results, but here's what actually happens. Knowledge without proper implementation changes nothing. I used to make these exact mistakes. I'd slash my calories dramatically, do cardio twice a day, and eat foods I couldn't properly track. The result? I'd lose some weight initially, then plateau hard, feel terrible, and eventually give up. I was plateauing because I was following advice made by people selling supplements or pushing extreme approaches that weren't sustainable. Everything changed when I took a step back and focused on what actually matters for sustainable fat loss. It's not complicated, but you need to understand the fundamentals and execute them consistently. This is about thermodynamics and basic human physiology, not magic pills or secret hacks. Let me break down the actual numbers so you understand what we're working with here. 1 pound of body fat contains roughly 3,500 calories. To lose 20 pounds, you need to create a total deficit of 70,000 calories over your timeline. If you're aiming to do this by the end of 2025, that breaks down to approximately 500 to 700 calories below maintenance, depending on your starting point. You can create this deficit through diet alone, activity alone, or a combination of both. Well, what's the smartest approach then? I would personally split the difference. Cut around 300 to 500 calories from your diet and burn the rest through daily movement. This keeps you from having to starve yourself while also preventing you from having to live on a treadmill. So how do we get started then? Step 1, dial in your nutrition. Start by calculating your maintenance calories. I would use an online calculator and always select sedentary or inactive as your activity level, even if you plan to exercise. This gives you the lowest baseline to work from. Most people overestimate their activity level, which inflates their maintenance calories and sabotages their deficit before they even start. Only adjust your calories upwards if you're doing significant additional activity beyond your planned workouts, and even then, be conservative. This minimizes your margin for error. Once you have your maintenance number, create that deficit of 300 to 500 calories to start. This is aggressive enough to see consistent progress, but sustainable enough that you won't kill your energy levels or lose muscle mass in the long term. Now here's where most people completely mess up their tracking. They eat a wide variety of foods that are hard to measure accurately, which leads to underestimating calories. My solution? Stick to whole foods that are simple to source and track. Pick a handful of protein sources, carb sources, and fat sources that you actually enjoy and eat them consistently throughout the week. When you eat the same core foods week after week, tracking becomes effortless. You know exactly what you're consuming. For me, that looks like chicken breast, lean ground turkey, eggs, and tuna for my protein. I use rice, sweet potatoes, and oatmeal for my carbs. And for my fats, I use avocados, olive oil, and peanut butter. Make sure you add in plenty of vegetables and berries to round things out, keep you satiated throughout the day, and hit your micronutrient goals. If you need recipes that maximize the volume of food you're eating while keeping calories at an absolute minimum, send me a DM in my free school community, Muscle Truth University, and I'll make a custom meal plan for you. You can apply to join with the link in the description. If what you're eating is working and you're losing weight consistently, don't change it up. All you need to do as you lose weight is reduce your portions of carbs and fats slightly to account for your lower body weight and metabolic adaptation. Keep your protein high and consistent. Speaking of protein, aim for at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. This is a non-negotiable. Protein protects your muscle mass while you're in a deficit, has the highest thermic effect of all micronutrients, and in turn, all of this keeps you feeling fuller throughout the day. If you want to enhance these effects even further and maximize muscle preservation, you can go up to as high as 1.3 grams per pound. For fats, aim to 50 to 60 grams daily minimum. This will support hormonal function, especially testosterone production. Don't go any lower than this trying to cut calories faster. Your hormones will suffer and your recovery will tank. The remaining calories after proteins and fats backfill with carbohydrates. Carbs provide training fuel and support your performance in the gym. Don't fall for the low-carb trap unless you have a specific medical reason. You need carbs to train hard and preserve muscle. Here's a simple building block system to make meal planning effortless. For protein, think in 50-gram portions. 2 scoops of whey isolate, 6 ounces of chicken breast, 8 ounces of lean beef, and 10 ounces of tuna. For carbs, also think in 50-gram portions. 2 cups of cooked rice, 6 ounces of sweet potato, 8 ounces of pasta, or 10 ounces of dry oats. Build your meals by combining these portions and adjusting quantities to match your individual macros. As far as beverages go, drink a gallon of water daily. Water helps you stay full all day, supports metabolic function, and here's a powerful trick. Every time you feel tempted to overeat or snack when you shouldn't, drink water first. Most of the time, that urge will pass, especially when you combine this with eating high fiber, high protein meals throughout the entire day. And if you want to make it even better, consider eating within an 8-hour window, because that will make it easier for you to manage your calorie intake. It's worth to note that intermittent fasting isn't magic for fat loss, but it can be a useful tool for appetite control. If that doesn't work for you or make you miserable, don't force it, because meal timing is far less important than total daily calories. Remember this above everything else. It's always calories in versus calories out. That's the most important factor for fat loss. But food choice matters tremendously for accurate tracking. If you're eating foods that are hard to measure or estimate, like when you're going out to eat, you could be consuming more calories than you think, which will stall your progress even if your diet looks clean on paper. Volume eating is your friend here. Pair lean proteins like turkey with large lettuce bowls. Use 0-calorie sauces and load up on low-calorie vegetables. You can eat a massive amount of food for minimal calories, which will help you feel satisfied while staying in a deficit. This is how you avoid feeling deprived while losing fat consistently, especially if your goal is to lose 20 pounds by the end of the year. Now that we have the fundamentals of your diet covered, what does your training look like? Because that's equally as important. So step 2 is to train smart. Here's something critical that most people miss. You have to train the same way you would if you were trying to build muscle. Don't switch to a fat loss program with light weights and high reps. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. When you diet without proper resistance training, you lose fat and muscle. This creates what's called the skinny fat look, where you have lower body weight but poor body composition. You end up smaller but still soft. That's not what we're after. The importance of strength training during a cut cannot be overstated. Every pound of muscle you maintain or build increases the number of calories your body naturally burns at rest. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. The more that you have, the easier it is to stay lean, and the higher your maintenance calories will be. As far as training frequency goes, I would recommend starting with training 3 to 4 days per week, hitting every body part 1.5 to 2 times per week. Focus on compound movements like squats, deadlifts, various presses, rows, and pull-ups. These are the exercises that maintain the most muscle mass and provide the best return on your time investment, because you're hitting multiple body parts at once as opposed to just one muscle group. For each exercise, perform 3 to 4 sets in that 6 to 12 rep range. This is the hypertrophy zone that provides adequate stimulus for muscle preservation. You don't have to train to complete muscular failure on every set. Stop about 1 to 2 reps before failure. This is called reps in reserve, or RIR in short. Training with 2 reps in reserve provides enough stimulus to maintain muscle while managing systemic fatigue, so you could properly recover in a deficit. It's also just as important to focus on progressive overload, just like you would in a surplus. Your goal is to maintain your strength throughout the fat loss phase. Each week, try to add 1 to 5 pounds to the movement, add 1 to 2 reps at the same weight, or slow down the eccentric tempo, which is a negative portion of the lift. Even small improvements signal your body that it needs to keep that muscle tissue. I go into developing the optimal training split in videos like this that I've linked above, and you could also find my workouts in my free school community. So we just covered resistance training, but what does the cardio aspect of training look like? So step 3 is our strategic cardiovascular work. For cardio, forget about killing yourself on a treadmill or doing HIIT sessions every day. Start with a simple foundation, which is walking 8,000 to 10,000 steps daily. You can always check your current average on your smartphone or smartwatch and add 2,000 steps to your baseline. Low intensity walking burns calories without creating excessive fatigue or interfering with your recovery from strength training. And if you want to optimize fat oxidation even further, add 2 to 3 sessions of zone 2 cardio per week. This is 30 to 40 minutes at about 70% of your maximum heart rate. Calculate it like this: 220 minus your age, then multiply by 0.7. This intensity keeps you in a zone where you can consistently burn calories without overtaxing your recovery. You can also add one high-intensity session per week if you want an extra boost and want to condition your cardiovascular and respiratory system. Structure it as 8 rounds of 20-second max effort, followed by 90 seconds of recovery. Always include a 5-minute warm-up before HIIT work to prevent injury. Here's the key with all cardio. Never try to eat back the calories you burn from activity. Just eat as if you weren't doing any cardio at all. Only factor in additional calories if you're doing a substantial amount of movement beyond your normal routine. And even then, be extremely conservative. This keeps your margin of error as low as possible with your tracking. So now that we have our diet and training fundamentals locked in, what else can we do to give ourselves an extra boost? And that's step 4, supplementation done right. Let me keep this simple because the supplement industry loves to overcomplicate things and sell you products that you don't need. I recommend 3 basic supplements: creatine monohydrate, a well-dosed multivitamin, and fish oil. Creatine helps maintain strength and muscle fullness during a cut. A quality multivitamin fills any nutritional gaps in your diet, especially if you're eating fewer total calories. Fish oil supports overall health, reduces inflammation, and aids recovery. That's it. Don't waste your money on anything else. Products like fat burners and testosterone boosters are a complete waste of time and money. They offer no meaningful improvement to your fat loss process whatsoever. The stimulants and fat burners just make you jittery and disrupt your sleep, which actually hurts fat loss. Save your cash and put that energy into getting your nutrition and training dialed in properly. Now, this next topic I'm going to discuss is something that most people skimp out on and is the reason why their fat loss is stalled or they can't make any progress to begin with. And that's step 5, prioritizing recovery. If you're not getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night, don't expect optimal results. Research from the University of Chicago shows that subjects sleeping only 5 hours lost over 50% of their weight from muscle tissue, while subjects getting 8 hours lost nearly all of their weight from fat stores. That's the difference between looking terrible and looking great at the same body weight. Sleep is where a significant portion of your testosterone production and recovery happens. Without adequate sleep, your body lacks the resources and hormonal environment needed to maintain muscle mass. Sleep deprivation also disrupts hunger hormones like leptin and ghrelin, making you hungrier and more likely to overeat. If sleep is challenging for you, here are some practical strategies that work. Completely black out your room or use a sleep mask. Stop consuming caffeine at least 8 hours before bedtime because caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 6 hours, so that afternoon coffee is still affecting you at night. Keep your room cool, ideally between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Being cold makes falling asleep easier. Avoid screens and blue light for an hour before bed. And lastly, consider supplementing with a high-quality form of magnesium like citrate or glycinate about 30 minutes before bed. This will help the quality of your sleep improve. It's also really important to manage your stress levels. Chronic elevated cortisol promotes fat storage, especially around your midsection, and disrupts fat mobilization. The reason why your body stores so much fat around your midsection is because of the lack of blood flow compared to the rest of your body. If you're stressed all the time, your body literally fights against fat loss. So try progressive muscle relaxation. Systemically tense and release each muscle group for 5 seconds, followed by complete relaxation. You can do a complete body scan in about 5 minutes, and it's incredibly effective for reducing stress. So you have the fat loss process down now, but you need to make sure you can monitor and manage it so you can stick to it in the long term and make sure you're actually doing what you need to do. That leads us to step 6, tracking and making adjustments. You can't manage what you don't measure. This is exactly the scientific method applied to your body. You need data to make intelligent decisions. Start by tracking your body weight 3 to 4 times per week in the morning under the same conditions, after using the bathroom, before eating or drinking anything, and don't obsess over daily fluctuations. You need to track the weekly average. This smooths out water weight variations and shows you the actual trend. If you want to be more meticulous about the process, you can also measure your waist circumference once weekly at the same time of day. This is often a better indicator of fat loss in the scale, especially if you're new to training and building muscle simultaneously, because muscle is more dense than fat, and as you're losing fat and gaining muscle, the weight on the scale might not change as much. Measuring your waist is a great way to know whether you're losing fat or losing muscle. Make sure you take progress photos in the same location with the same lighting at the same time. Visual changes often show up before the scale moves significantly, especially if you're a beginner. One of the most important things you can track are all of your major lifts in the gym. If your strength is maintaining or improving, you're preserving muscle mass successfully. And now if your strength is tanking, you're either not eating enough protein not recovering properly, or pushing your deficit way too aggressively. If fat loss stalls for 2 or more consecutive weeks, you need to make some sort of adjustment. Either reduce your daily calories by 100 to 200, or just add 15 to 20 minutes to your cardio sessions, making sure not to eat back any of those calories. Make one change at a time so you can identify what actually works for your body. Don't panic and slash calories by 500 while doubling your cardio. That's how you crash your metabolism, motivation, and lose muscle. Everybody can have good systems in place that works, but without having your mind in check, that all falls apart. That leads us to step 7, mastering your mindset. You now understand the training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and tracking needed for fat loss. But none of this matters without the right mindset and consistency. It's easy to tell someone to just be consistent, but what does that actually look like in practice? The reason most people fail at fat loss isn't because they don't know what to do. It's because they don't stick with the process long enough to see meaningful results. Because you know deep down, if you stay the course, you'd achieve your goals, but something stops you. Whether that be shiny object syndrome, lack of discipline, or impatience when results don't come immediately. You'll see someone on social media promoting a new diet or training method and think maybe this is the missing piece, so you abandon what was already working before you gave it time to see results. The issue isn't ignorance about consistency. The issue is your mindset and the discipline to follow through even when it's not exciting anymore, because it's not going to be exciting for long. It's going to become your new normal, and sometimes your new normal isn't as attractive as what it once was. Here's your assignment. Define your primary motivation beyond just aesthetics. Use the 5 whys technique. Ask yourself why you want to lose fat. Then ask why that reason matters. Then ask why that matters. Keep going until you hit that deep intrinsic motivation that will sustain you when things get super hard, because they will. If it doesn't get hard, it means you're not trying hard enough. Nothing in life worth doing is easy, which is also why you need to document this where you'll see it daily. Research shows that intrinsic motivation predicts long-term adherence better than any other factor. You need a reason that's bigger than I want to look good shirtless. That's not good enough to sustain you through 15 weeks of consistent effort. People overthink everything. Doubt will take over. You'll jump to a new diet or program when what they were doing was working perfectly fine. You'll quit when the process becomes boring. Because the reality is this: sustainable fat loss is boring, but it works. Because it's repetition, it's discipline, it's tracking your food, training hard, walking your steps, sleeping well, and then doing it over again, day after day, week after week, month after month. That's how real transformations happen, not through a 30-day challenge or a trendy diet, but through consistent execution of a solid plan that was made specifically for you. The 20 pounds of fat loss is just a measurable outcome. The real result is understanding how your body actually responds to different variables. You learn what creates progress, what maintains it, and what derails it. That knowledge is more valuable than any single transformation because it gives you control for the rest of your life. That's why I put together a complete system to help you lose your first 20 pounds of fat by the end of 2025 without wasting time on approaches that weren't even designed for your goals. If you're ready to commit to the process and want a personalized game plan, you can book your free private one-on-one call with me using the link in the description below. It's just for me to see if I can help you, and if I can, we'll come up with a strategy that works for you, whether you implement it yourself or with support from me and my team. I look forward to helping you achieve the transformation you're after.